if Kirby Smart can get the most out of these players that I'm about to talk about, I really do think it could be a special season for Georgia in 2024. I've got a few guys in mind on offense, a few guys in mind on defense who, if they take the next step of their progress, right, and their play, I think they could have a giant impact on this season. So let's start on offense, right? That's where I always like to start because offense is key. Got to score points, right? Defense is always important, but if Georgia can get this thing going offensively this year, they could be really tough to stop, and they're going to score a lot of points. But I want to start on the offensive line. If left tackle Ernest Green can turn into one of the best left tackles in college football and protect Carson Beck's blind side consistently all year long, that is going to have a massive impact on this offense. Now, he was very good last year as a sophomore in year 2, and I've spoken with several people around the program and several offensive linemen for that matter. They think the world of this guy, and Georgia knows how to develop left tackles, right? They've had several tackles in general, including left tackles, go into the first round of the NFL draft, and he could be the next guy. Now, I don't see anywhere across the country where they're talking about Ernest Green being one of the best left tackles in college football. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if by the end of the year, he is considered one of the best left tackles in college football. And if he can continue to get better and prove that he's one of the best in the country, that is going to be huge. They're going against some really talented defenders and pass rushers this year, starting with Clemson. They've got some big-time defenders. Texas has a lot of really good defenders on the outside. Ole Miss brought in some size and speed on the defensive line. So he's going to have several tests throughout the season. If he can continue to do his job and continue to get better, that's only going to help Carson Beck become the guy we think he can be, or I think we could be. We all think Carson Beck could have a massive season, but if he gets more from Ernest Green, it's going to be even better. Same with Jared Wilson, right? I do think this is going to be one of the best offensive lines Georgia's had in a while, but that's the new center, right? They've got 4 returning starters everywhere else. He is coming up behind Cedric Van Pram, maybe the best center in Georgia football history, right? If Jared Wilson cannot have Georgia take a big step back there, and he proves that, hey, I've been here for a while now. I'm no walk-on scrub. I'm not a freshman. And he proves that he can get the job done at center. That's huge, not only for Carson Beck right behind him, but for the rest of the offensive line. So Ernest Green, Jared Wilson, if those guys can continue and show everyone how good they really are and how good they could be, that's only going to make things easier for the offense. Let's talk about some guys on defense real quick. But before I do that, right, got to plug collegebronze.com. That's the only place where you can get the best looking #1 Bulldog statue on the market. Promo code DAWGPOST when you order. Look at this bad boy. Look at this bad boy. He goes great anywhere. Front porch, back porch, in your office, anywhere. But you got to let your neighbors know that you pull for the Dogs when they are in maybe the middle or the beginning of another special season. Promo code DAWGPOST, DAWGPOST. It's the only place you can get a discount, and you can order in the description below in this video. So when you order, don't forget that promo code. Okay, defensively, I think Dalen Everett, right? I mean, Georgia's had kind of a lockdown cornerback year after year after year, and it's time for him to be that true #1, a guy that they can put on the best receiver that they're going to be going up against, right? Again, Clemson's got some receivers. Ole Miss has some receivers. Alabama, Texas, they've all got guys who can catch the football and make big plays down the field. If Dalen Everett can take the next step in his progression, and show that he can be, your typical possibly lockdown cornerback who can follow the best receiver around and stop him, that's going to be huge because Georgia's going to get tested not only vertically, but they're going to be in games where the opposing quarterback is a lot of screens, a lot of screens, a lot of short passes. He's got to show that he's physical enough to shed a block and go get a guy, go run down someone. So this is a massive year for Dalen Everett, former 5-star who, wasn't always great last year. He was getting turned around a couple times and left some dudes wide open. And he's got to get better. Everyone knows that. And I'm not sure he has the trust of a lot of Georgia fans out there, but he's got a chance to prove everyone wrong. If he does, that is going to be massive for this team and this defense. So Can he do what Kamari Lassiter did last year? Can he do what Keely Ringo, although Keely Ringo was known for, a pass interference, at least one a game, right? He also made those big plays and those key turnovers. Can Dalen Everett do that? Can he be a true number one lockdown cornerback? That's a big question. If he can, that's going to be a big, big deal. Jamal Jarrett, right? When I covered Jamal Jarrett, if you don't know who that is, he was a freshman defensive tackle last year. When he was a recruit, he told me, hey, they want me to be the next Jordan Davis. They want me to be that massive clog in the middle of the trenches, taking on double teams, occasionally getting in, one-on-one situations where I can get off that block, make a play in the backfield, right? Create pressure on the quarterback from the inside, which is something every quarterback absolutely hates, right? If he takes a big step from year one to year two and can become anywhere close to what Jordan Davis was, that's going to make the defensive line even better, right? Right now, he's still a lot of promise, right? But when you're 350 and you're massive and you're recruited to play that Jordan Davis type of role, those are the expectations now. And I don't think anyone expects him to be Jordan Davis, but if he can just play that role and do his job and clog those running lanes in the trenches and take on double teams, make it easier for those linebackers behind him to make plays around him, that's going to be big. Can he earn a starting role at some point this year? We'll see, but he's going to have to beat out some experienced veteran defensive tackles in front of him on the depth chart. But eventually, they're going to need him to be that Jordan Davis type of guy. And we'll see if he can possibly be that by the end of the year. If he can, and they have this, big old bulldog, right in the middle of the trenches who can do what Jordan Davis did or anything close to that, that is going to make things so much easier for everyone around him. And that's something that opposing offenses do not want to see. I can tell you that right now. If Jamal Jarrett continues to be the guy that they think he can be, that is going to be huge. And then Damon Wilson, a guy I'm hearing a lot about, pass rushing specialist on the outside. Again, there's some outside linebackers in front of him, right? I think Michael Williams is going to see a lot of that role this year. Chaz Chambliss is basically a returning starter. He started several games. He's been in the program for a while. Jalen Walker sees a lot of time at outside linebacker. I mean, he might be the best pass rusher on the team. At least the numbers say he is, and he creates a lot of havoc. But Damon Wilson is a former 5-star for a reason. Year two, I expect him to take a big step forward in his progression, his technique, the fundamentals. And we'll see if he can, be that possibly game-changing outside linebacker pass rusher type. Again, that's going to make things easier for everyone. And I think he can. I think he has the potential to be one of the best pass rushers in the SEC and possibly the country. Will we see more of that this year? I think we will here and there. We'll see if he can be a consistent option on the outside. If you've got Jalen Walker on one side coming at you and Damon Wilson on the other, y'all can't see my hands, but two outside linebackers coming around, you don't see that often. But yeah, third and medium, third and long, you want two elite pass rushers coming after the quarterback. If Damon Wilson can show he can be that type of guy and consistently, not even just get to the quarterback, but create havoc, create pressure consistently, that is going to be a big, big deal for this team and this defense this fall. Others that I thought about Oscar Delp, but Oscar Delp is not Brock Bowers, and Kirby said for the past 2 years, Oscar Delp needs to be the best form of Oscar Delp. We don't need him to be Brock Bowers. And Oscar Delp has already been productive. He's shown he can be a weapon in the pass game. He's a reliable run blocker, so I don't think this is a make or break situation because Oscar Delp is already a good player and has shown that he's a good player. Jordan Hall on the defensive line, similar to Jamal Jarrett. This will be year two, and he was a borderline 5-star. And I compared him to the Jalen Carter type, where he can be explosive off the snap and make plays in the backfield. He can attack the quarterback, run down the ball carrier if he needs to, trying to get to the sideline. But he's around that 310 area and brings a physical frame that'll allow him to add more muscle. But if he can be a havoc wrecking guy in the middle, again, that's what they recruited him to be, right? A force in the middle of the trenches. and a guy who can win those individual battles against a guard, or if he's, stunting, maybe he goes one-on-one against a tackle, whatever the case may be. If he wins his battles, he can make plays in the backfield and get the offense going backwards, or even forcing an offside or a false start, right? He has the ability to do that. If he starts to become the player they think he can be and the player they expect him to be, that is going to be huge, because they're going to need him and Jamal Jarrett year 3 next year, right? So they need to start taking those steps and flashing a little bit more this year. Now, they both played as a freshman last year and occasionally, made a play or two, but I expect more from both Jordan Hall and Jamal Jarrett this season in year 2, their sophomore season. And then one more guy on offense, Colby Young. I think Colby Young could be a true game changer on the perimeter. He's got size, he's got ball skills. I think he's going to be a big weapon for Carson Beck. If he is, and if he makes the impact I think he has the potential to make, again, that just gives him another massive weapon on the outside, a red zone weapon, a guy you can throw the ball up to in jump ball situations in the end zone. That is going to be huge for this offense if Colby Young has this big final college football season that he wants to have and the Georgia staff wants him to have. If he does, that's going to be another big deal for Carson Beck. So yeah, just a few guys I've got my eye on who could, if they do their job, could really help Georgia in their run for another national championship. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the website.